Hi, I'm Nancy Hershberger, and I hope I did this right because I am live streaming from my studio. Did I even say this already? My name is Nancy Hershberger, and I'm a fiber artist, and I live here in Bedford County. And thanks to Southern Alleghany's Museum of Art in Bedford, we are doing this tutorial today. What we're going to do today is not fiber art. What we're going to do today is pretty utilitarian and pretty important to what is needed right now. Today we're going to make a face mask. We're going to make one of these. And this is for an adult. This is an adult size face mask. I got an email, thank you Kathy. I got an email this morning asking if these could be made into child size, and what I will do is I will rework the pattern so that we can make child size face masks. But what we're going to do today is this particular one with the ties for a reason. And I want to tell you a quick story about one young lady in Johnstown. Her name is Teresa Fisher, and she's a nurse at Conemaugh Hospital in Johnstown. And she saw, 2 weeks ago, she saw the need for, thank you, my cameraman just showed up. Thank you, Eddie. So Teresa, the nurse at Conemaugh Hospital in Johnstown, saw the need that they were going to be out and they needed face masks urgently. So she asked her mom, Joni Fisher, if she could make some, if she could help out. So, of course, her mom said yes. Well, her mom is also a quilter, and her mom reached out to the Log House Quilt Guild of Johnstown. The Log House Quilt Guild said, of course we will help. And then a fabric shop, a sewing machine shop in New Enterprise also got wind of this. Zimmerman's Bernina of New Enterprise got wind of this, and they also then asked for help to make masks for Conemaugh. Well, Conemaugh was very specific. They wanted fabric ties because when they get them, they're going to sterilize them. Fabric ties will hold up in that process. Elastic will not. If you are making masks with elastic to go around the ears, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that Conemaugh Hospital asked for these for that reason, and that's why we're going to make these today. So if you haven't already seen the pattern that's on SAMA's Facebook page, you can go there, you can download it, you can print it off, and that is actually the pattern we're going to be using here today. This pattern is a mashup between what Conemaugh wants and what, what's her name? Missouri Star Quilt Company put out there. This is her process and how to make it. The measurements are exactly what Conemaugh is asking for. So we're going to make this. Now, just because Conemaugh asked for this doesn't mean it has to be for Conemaugh. You can make these for anyone. So I'm going to get started. What you need as far as tools are a couple of things. A cutting mat. This big green thing, I don't know if you can see it, this big green thing is a very nice Olfa rotary cutting mat. You can find them at any quilt shop anyway. Since we're under the stay-at-home order, you can't run out and get one. If you have one, great. If you don't, we can figure out how to cut this differently. But if you have a cutting mat and these OmniGrid rulers, these are usually used by quilters. We use these things all the time. They're fabulous, they're wonderful. And very sharp tool. This is a rotary cutter. If you don't have one of these, they're really nice to have. You can always use scissors. But the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go right as the pattern says. We are going to cut a 9-inch width of fabric. Now this fabric used to be 1 full yard. We want 2 full yards, and we're going to, from there we're going to cut our squares and our ties. So this was 1 full yard, but I've already cut some of these. So what I'm going to do, just to show you how to use this, for those who don't know how to use a rotary cutter, we're going to line this up. We're going to cut a 9-inch, and I have to do this standing up, a 9-inch slice of fabric, and this is selvage to selvage. So let's do this. Okay. And listen to that brand new blade cutting right through this. This is obviously not for kids because we're using sharp tools here. So we're going to cut 1 9-inch right now, and then we're going to cut a few 1.5-inch pieces for our ties. I'm just going to cut 2 for now. 1, 2, 1.5 each, 1.5 inches each. Okay. So that's done. I'm just going to put those over there. I'm going to put this one away, and now I'm going to subcut or cross cut or whatever you want to call it. 2 7-inch. Where's my 10? Okay. So now we're going to cut 2 7-inch pieces. Now this is folded over, so all I have to do is make 1 cut. I'm going to cut off the selvage here. You don't have to do that. You can if you want to. I like to do that. So I'm going to cut. So this is 9 inches, and now I'm going to cut 7-inch. Let me make sure I got that right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. All righty. Here we go. So now we have 2 pieces of fabric. Now we want to use 2 yards for a reason. We want a different fabric on the front than on the back. Another tool I'm going to use is a pressing mat, and I'm just going to set this down right here now because I'm done cutting. And I cross-cut those, so I don't need that anymore. We want to use 2 yards because we want a different fabric on the front than on the back, so that they know, so that you know when you put on your own mask which side goes inside, which side goes outside. So here we have 2 pretty cherry fabrics. Aren't they pretty? Very springy. And so now I'm going to place these 2 pieces of fabric together. Jenny Doan, that's her name, Jenny Doan. Jenny Doan, Missouri Star Quilt Company. So anyway, she has a really good tutorial, but the cutting and the sizes of the strips are what we did for Conemaugh, Johnstown. So I'm going to place these 2 right side together. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So now we're going to take them over to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew the short sides. Yes. Had to think there for a minute. Short sides together. So I'm going to bring this over to the machine, and I'm going to lower my presser foot. Now I'm using a walking foot just because I like it. I like it best, and I'm using a 1/4 inch seam. Those of you who do garment construction, you're used to a much larger seam. We were going to do a 1/4 inch seam here, so buttons where you need them. It doesn't matter much really. So I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam here right down. And you see I didn't back stitch. I'm not going to back stitch here because quilters rarely back stitch. But garment construction people do. And so if you want to do that, that's fine. You don't have to. And so now I am going to sew the other short side. And I'm going to put this down. There we go. 1/4 inch seam. Just like that. And you'll notice that I don't sew very fast. I can quilt pretty fast, but I can't sew very fast. Oh, excuse me. I have a runny nose. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. So, hand sanitizer. All right. Oh, ugh, I can't stand the smell of this stuff. But anyway, there you have it. We have our two right sides together, sewn together. And of course I used too much of this stuff. So now I'm going to turn it inside out, or right side out. And I'm going to press these seams. And it looks pretty good. So I'm going to press this, and I'm going to press smell that hand sanitizer. Ugh. So so I like that. Now I like to use, this is called a goddess sheet. I love these things. This is an applique pressing sheet, but it's not like the white ones that you can find in most quilt shops. This one is also Teflon, but it holds the heat really, really, really well. I love this thing. Use it all the time, and it makes it nice. It makes it press really, really nice. You get a nice crease. These things are not easy to find, but I do know one shop in Alexandria, Virginia, artisticartifacts.com. You can order these things. They're good stuff. I love it. Okay, so we made this thing. Now we're going to make the ties. So I'm going to show you how to fold and press the ties. And this is the most time-consuming part, and there are easier ways to do them. Well, I wouldn't say easier, there are faster ways. I like this kind simply because this is the one I learned first, and I like to press. Go figure. I like that. I like this process. I find it very therapeutic. You know what I mean. I like it. Relaxing. And so I'm going to press these in together. So I don't know if you can see this very well, but I'm just taking the edges, turning them in 1/4 inch, more or less, and I'm pressing them. They're kind of meet in the middle right there. And I'm pressing them together, not overlapping, just meet in the middle and press, okay? Something about this process I actually really, really, really enjoy. And then pretend I did the whole thing. Then I'm going to turn it over. So I'm turning the folded edges together, and I am going to press again. Now, this is not a process for little kids because we're using hot iron, sharp blades, and sharp needles. So if there are some little kids out there who want to help, there is one very important part to this process that you can do, and I will show you in a little bit. So let's pretend I have this all pressed. It's time, and now it's time to put these onto the put the ties onto this mask. So what I'm going to do is I happen to have one in this coordinating fabric. Isn't that cute? Cute, cute, cute. Ah, I love these cherries. It kind of reminds me of Aunt Faye and Uncle Leonard's and, well, Grandpa Furry's apple orchard. He had cherries too. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So I took this piece of tie. This is 1.5 inch. It's been folded and pressed and pressed and folded. I'm going to find the center just like that by folding it in half this way. There's my center. So I'm going to put a little pin in there, and I don't know what that pen is doing there, so let me get it out of the way. So we have the center. Let me find the other one. Here it is. We're going to find the center of this one. I think I already did. And we're going to put a pin in that. Bada, bada, bing. Just like that. Okay. So here we have our mask that we have turned inside, right side out and pressed. Now we still have this unsewn part. This is how we're going to find our center. We have to find the center of this, and we do that by pressing. This is called a finger press. And I'm just going to press that together just like that so that we see a little crease right there. How about that? I'm going to put a pin right here and a pin. I gotta flip it around because I am left-handed. It's right-handed world out there. And I'm going to put my pin in right there. Okay, so now I'm going to bring this forward, and I am going to take this pin out, and I'm going to remember where this center is. I'm going to just sort of hold it right there. I've got a tiny little crease there so I can see where it is, see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to place this inside this fold. Yeah, I know my pin is there. I'm going to take it out in a second. All right, so now I've sort of sandwiched it in this piece of fabric, and I'm going to pin it in place just like that. I'm going to actually put a few pins in here. Add pins to your list of things you need. Pins really come in handy right now. I don't like to pin, but you sure do have to do it here. Okay, so I'm going to do this one. Now I've got that pinned. I'm going to leave this one unpinned for now because I stabbed myself the last time I tried to pin both and sew them each time. So now I'm going to go back over. Go back over the sewing machine, and now I'm going to stitch these folded ends together. I should have pressed that a little better. All right, so here we go. I'm going to move this thread tail out of the way. I'm going to put this down. Now I'm going to sew this right along the edge about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, I'm going to backstitch here just to hold it. So I am stitching 1/8 of an inch along this side, just closing this fold together. Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay. We are experiencing technical difficulties here. Forgive me for just a moment. I just broke my thread, and I am going to have to redo that. Hold on just a second. My apologies. I knew that would happen, and we can't pause this either. I knew that would happen. How? When stuff, what is that, Murphy's Law? Okay, all right. Here we go. Murphy's Law. I knew that would happen. I just knew it. Okay. All right. And because my machine does not like to thread the needle when I'm using this presser foot, I have to I have to thread this by hand. No big deal. So I'm gonna thread this needle. All right, so let's hope for no more technical difficulties for the rest of this. So we're gonna pick up where we left off and start all over again. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Alrighty, all right, here we go. All right, back in business, we're going to sew this tie on. And once again, I don't sew very fast. I actually sew pretty slowly, but there's no harm in that. When you sew slowly, you sew accurately. There's a video out there of some gentleman in the Czech Republic who is making these things. He can crank one out every 3 minutes or so. I can't do that. Okay. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm still making one. And taking my pins out as I go. Because of the way I put my pins in, there's no way I'm ever gonna run over them. So, keep going, keep going, keep going. Alrighty, and now I'm going to sew the other side of this. Now you notice I didn't back stitch over that because I'm going to actually cover that again when we do the tucks, folds, pleats, whatever you want to call them. Alrighty. So I am going to finish this, and I'm going to back stitch. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to trim these thread ends because I don't like them. I like them trimmed off as I go along. And now this is the one part, actually it's one of a couple of parts that a young person can help with. You can, there we go. Thank you. So this is what young people can help with. When you get this on, young people, tie a little knot right here. Just like that, okay? Don't make it too tight because you'll pop the stitches. I've done that several times already. This morning I made a few just to practice and pop the stitches. You don't want to hear that. So anyway, here we got, look at that. Isn't that cute? Look at that. Isn't that cute? So let's pretend we put both of these on, and we have now one that looks like this. Now we are going to make the pleats. All right, just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to press this again because I like to press. Don't ask me why. All right. So pleats, if you do garment construction, you know what you're doing and you don't need me to tell you how to do it. If you don't do garment construction and you still know how to make pleats, you also don't need me to tell you what to do. But if you're relatively new to this like I was, it's really not hard. It just takes some practice. So we're going to eyeball about 1.5 inches down from the top, and we are going to take our first tuck like this. We're just going to lift it up and pull up about 1/2 inch, about 1/2 inch, just like that. And we're just going to sort of wiggle it around, make sure it's even, relatively even, and we're going to fold it over. So that fold should be about 1/2 inch. Cool beans, cool beans. That looks really nice. Okay, and I'm going to press this. All right, and I'm not ironing, pressing. And yeah, you see me moving back and forth a little bit because, you know, that's just what we grew up doing. So I'm going to pin this in place right here on that side and on this side. All right, our first one. Now we're going to make our second one. Second one is we're going to measure down, eyeballing it, about an inch from that crease right there. All right, so I'm going to just pick it up right about here, make another 1/2 inch fold, and I'm just kind of wiggling it, just whoops, there we go. Wiggling it a little bit just to get that. It looks to be a little bit more than an inch. And I'm gonna fold it down. Fuss. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but this is the way I learned. And there are a couple of people I want to say thank you to. One in particular is Colleen Seedor, my dear friend, Colleen Seedor. Colleen has the patience of a saint. Colleen is spent her entire career in the nursing field, in the healthcare field. She was a nurse and still is, and just an awesome lady. And she helped me learn how to do this because I can quilt, but I'm not good at sewing. No siree. And she walked me through this process and taught me how to do these things. She is one of those people who can look at something and figure out how to make it. Colleen, you're just amazing. So I am putting another pleat together there. And one more. We're going to do 3 pleats. That's it. So you should have about 1.5 inches from the top and 1.5 inches from the bottom. This looks like it's a little top heavy, but that's all right. That's all right. We're still getting our 3 pleats. It's still even. And we don't want these things to overlap. We want them to be just separate from each other, because when we stitch it, if they overlap, it's just harder to stitch. So I'm going to move this one down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so excuse me, there we have our 3rd pleat, and I'm going to press. Press. And now let it cool a little bit because it's a little hot. Okay, and now I'm going to pin this one more time, and now I'm going to stitch. I'm going to go over to the sewing machine, and we're going to stitch it. All right, so now I'm going to go right down along the edge, the right edge, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And I'm just going to do a straight stitch right down the edge. Now, I told you I was going to cover this, so I start at the very top here. I'm going to go forward about 2 or 3 stitches. I'm going to back stitch. So that's why you're securing your stitch vertically as well as horizontally right there. So that's why I didn't back stitch when I went that way. So I'm going to go right down the edge. Okay, here we go. Take out a couple of pins. Alrighty. And I'm sewing right down along that edge. Now, as I go over the pleat, I'm going to back stitch. I'm going to go over that pleat again, the 2nd pleat. And I'm going to back stitch. I'm going to go over this 3rd pleat and back. And come down to the end, back stitch, and there you go. And I like to cut these thread tails as I go. So I'm going to cut this thread tail right here and here. And now we're going to do the other one, the other side. And here we go. Ugh. My hair is in my face. Excuse me again. Excuse me again. And it's tickling my nose. All right. So here we go. Ugh, again. Wouldn't it be nice if this was unscented? All right, so here we go. Right down along the edge, 1/8 of an inch. All right, so I just need to adjust a little bit because I never did adjust my presser foot pressure. I like to lower it a little bit. Okay, all right, so here we go, here we go. So I'm going to back stitch. And I'm going to go over this third. Oh, I went over that second pleat and didn't back stitch, so I'm going to go up there and do it again and get that third pleat and back stitch, and we are complete. And we're not done yet, but we are complete with this, with the pleats. So we have finished. Let me clip my threads here. There we go. So we have completed the face mask. Okay, that's it. That's all there is to it. It's really not hard. You can do this. You can do this, especially now. It's very, very, very important.
Hey Nancy, Linda Calloway wants you to put it on so they see how it fits.
Okay. All right.
This close-up is for you, Linda.
There we go. Ouch, got my hair caught in it, but that's it. So that's what it looks like. Now I'm going to take it off so that I can talk better. There you go. All right, Linda, that's for you. Now this one is mine. And Eddie, I have one for you that is
Camo.
Vegetables you don't like. So, so anyway, that's it. This is not hard to do, and it's very important to do right now. Yes, and we did that in 30 minutes. This video will be available after we're done here. If there's something you missed, you can watch it over and over and over again, or you can go look for other videos. But you can always rewatch this one if you want. So getting back to the nurse in Johnstown, Conemaugh, Johnstown, she is still coordinating. Her name, I believe I mentioned, is Teresa Fisher. If you feel compelled to make masks, not just for yourself, your family, but for others, there is a need out there. The need is great. There are two folks that are coordinating that I know of right now, and that is Teresa Fisher, who is the nurse at Conemaugh Hospital in Johnstown. Her email address is helpthehospitals@gmail.com. If you make masks to send to her, you can reach her through that email. You can also call her 814-525-5328, and she'll be happy to talk to you. She'll be happy to tell you how to get the masks to her. Again, if you do make masks for Kanama, this is the kind to make. This is what they make. She's not just working with Kanama, she's actually working with EMTs and other places in the greater Johnstown area. So she's a good contact. Another group who is coordinating right now is Zimmerman's Bernina in New Enterprise. They are collecting masks for Homewood in Martinsburg and the village at Morson's Cove, or village of Morson's Cove. You know what I'm talking about. So right now, because we're under these restrictions, you can reach out to them. You can call the shop at 814-766-9942 to arrange with them how to get them to them. If you want to just mail them to mail your masks to Zimmerman's, their address is 208 Flitch Road in New Enterprise, and the zip code is 16664. SAMA Bedford is currently working out a way to get masks to other people, but because of this new restriction that we're under, it's a fluid situation, and they're working on it. And Morgan will post something, an announcement about how to get masks to them so that they will distribute. They have someone who will be working with EMTs and other entities, nursing homes, whoever, to get masks to them. So we're almost wrapped up here. There's really not much more I can tell you about how to do these things. So I want to thank a few people. I want to thank, first of all, my dear husband, Eddie Majeski, who is operating our camera, and Colleen for helping me learn how to do this, Paula Booth, who pointed me in the right direction to what's her name, Missouri Star Quilt Company, Jenny Doan, whose technique this is to put the top across the mask. So thank you, Paula. That was a big help. Colleen, thank you so much for being so patient and helping me learn how to do this. And Southern Alleghenies Museum of Art for making this happen. So if you have any questions, you can, I guess you still have that scrolling. Morgan is fielding questions from her place in Bedford. And that's about it. On behalf of SAMA in Bedford, I want to thank you so much, and stay safe. Thanks.